Charles Buster Williams is a world-renowned musician, composer, and bassist. He is one of the few living musicians whose career has spanned 6 decades and is still going. He has worked and recorded with legends of American ancestral music: Gene Ammons, Sonny Stitt, Sarah Vaughan, Shirley Horn, and the list goes on forever. His bass playing has been influenced by his rich life and performance experiences. His sound, unique vocabulary, and signature rhythmic motifs are unmistakable. Mr. Williams' compositions are unique. He is a pioneer of reharmonization. He takes simple progressions and puts a silky twist on them. One of my favorites of Buster's is Song for Thaddeus on his record Somewhere Along the Way, Killin'. Buster's compositional breath is masterful. Strong melodies, harmonic creativity, slickness, and of course, space. One of my favorite recordings of Buster Williams is Something More. It features some amazing playing, so check that record out. What you're hearing now is his composition, Air Dancing. Now, over the years, Buster Williams, Ron Carter, Cecil McBee, Richard Davis, many great bassists are associated with the amp sound. And so some cats aren't so keen on the amp sound. However, if you played back in the time when they played bass, you wouldn't hear them playing the bass because the drums would be playing all over on top of them. So when the invention of the amp or the amp became available, they were probably first in line so they could compete with the drummer. However, let's not confuse that, in this case of the great Buster Williams, with what he's actually playing, and the content is on an extremely masterful level. My personal experience with Buster Williams, it came as a student. I was attending the New School for Jazz and Contemporary Music program, and without my choice or anything, my first ensemble professor was Buster Williams. I remember Buster being really hard on me in ensemble class. Like, man, more or less, more sensitive, be more tender, whatever. So I was like, man, this guy doesn't like me. But what I realized is he really liked me, and he was being hard on me. And I call it finishing school. And Buster is a finisher. So he knows how to finish or put that patina, that sheen on things. So I was being worked on, little did I know. Buster taught me about refinement, using textures, making smart musical choices, and much more. Just being on the bandstand and being attentive to body language and the motion and the sensitivity in the music. Buster opened a whole new world of thinking and ways in which you could hear and create for me. After a few months of being at the school, Buster asked me to play some gigs with him. I was elated and terrified at the same time. I was like, man, okay, I'm happy that he called me for the gig, but man, I don't want to be getting screamed on the gig. I knew that his musical expectations were super high, so I knew that. My first gig with Buster was in the midst of winter. It was snowing. It was like actually in a snowstorm. He rented a minivan and we drove from New York City to Traverse City, Michigan with his bass in the minivan. So we were packed in his minivan. And so I had to learn some music for the gig, but he didn't give me any sheet music. So I had to listen to live gigs, cassettes. I think it was with Rini and Billy Drummond and Steve Wilson and Shunzo. And so I'm listening to these live recordings of the gigs on this drive, like in the middle of the night in a snowstorm. So I was a little nervous about just doing the gigs, like learning. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna remember all of this stuff. Buster's music is not just like, okay, a standard and a few hits. It's like involved. It's a lot of nuance. So I was nervous. So my cousin, Carlos McKinney, was actually on the gig as well. So he helped calm my nerves. He was like, man, you know how to play. Just be attentive. So the lesson here from Buster was all about listening. And it wasn't that I was going to know all of the music to a T. It was being attentive to the essence of the music and the vibe of the music and being attentive to that. That was the lesson there. He wanted me to be inside of the emotion in the music. And Buster always knows that's where the magic is. Mastery of language, pedigree, style, personality, compositional style, body of work, and wisdom. This is why Buster Williams is Bout It. At the end of this season's Bout It, the featured artists will vote amongst themselves on who they think is Bout It. The winner will receive a cash prize and a Sirius Award. We are asking for your support to fund this campaign. The proceeds will only go to these legendary musicians. Let's lift up those who are really Bout It.